All right, so what we're going to go over, for those of you that aren't familiar with us, Jasmine and I are going to spend a little bit of time providing a brief overview of the organization and our operations. But most of our time is going to be spent reviewing expansion, colonization, and new chapter development with Dale. And then we're going to wrap up answering any questions along the way. So just a little bit about us. Our central office is located in Oxford, Ohio, adjacent to Miami University's campus. The fraternity is co-ed and it's open to those in business and economic majors. So chapters shouldn't have non-majors with a business minor joining. So if they're education major, but they have some type of business minor, those students would not be eligible for joining Delta Sigma Pi. We currently have 224 chapters across the country, including 2 in Hawaii and 6 colonies that are currently working toward chartering. And we have worked very closely with Holmes Murphy in the updating of our risk management policy. So for all intents and purposes, it's going to be similar to many of the social organizations on your campus. Additionally, we host leadership development programs like most organizations do for our members, fall lead schools, spring lead provincial conferences. We have a President's Academy that is held in January, and our Grand Chapter Congress is held in August of odd numbered years. Also with the pandemic, we have expanded our online offerings for volunteers and collegiate members. And so some of them are networking opportunities, some of them are operational conversations, a lot of sharing of ideas as we were kind of getting off the ground here with the pandemic in August. We're a staff of about 17, including all of our support staff. I came on in April of 2019, as I said, after about 15 years of being a campus fraternity and sorority advisor. Dale's been with the organization as a volunteer and staff member for over 25 years. Jasmine is in her 3rd year as an educational and leadership consultant, and there are 2 other consultants that are eager to travel again, and they are wrapping up their 2nd year. Chris, I saw the face. Our board of directors is made up of 10 individuals. In addition to the grand president, past grand president, VP of finance, and executive director, each of our 5 provinces has a vice president who sits on the board. We also have 2 rotating collegians of the year, or COIs. Each year we will have a COI rotate off the board and a new one rotate on, and they serve a 2-year term. Our board members are elected at Grand Chapter Congress, so we will in some way have Grand Chapter Congress this summer, if for nothing else to elect new officers. Each one of our provincial vice presidents oversees 5 to 7 regional vice presidents that cover our 31 regions throughout the country. And each RVP is responsible to appoint and oversee a district director who is Delta Sig's volunteer advisor to the chapter. Regional vice presidents are also elected at Grand Chapter Congress, and the district directors are appointed annually to the chapter by the RVP. And so those are kind of the basics. I'm going to turn it over now to Jasmine to talk a little bit about some of our programming and consulting.
Awesome. Thank you, Tyler. So Delta Sigma Pi does have an accreditation program that we call the Chapter Management Program, or CMP for short. We have 3 tiers of achievement focused on different aspects of the fraternity's operations. So a chapter CMP progress report is always available and on our website on dsp.org/CMP. All stakeholders have the opportunity to look at the chapter's regional, provincial, national reports to just benchmark against other chapters nearby. And additionally, there's a longitudinal report that are available to review all growth over the last couple of years. So as a part of the CMP programming requirements, chapters are required to annually host a risk management program, 7 professional events, 6 service events, attend the National Leadership Development event, and new to this year, the execution of a diversity, equity, and inclusion event and an action plan. So a little bit about our Pledge Education Program, or PEP. So this was recently redesigned and launched this fall. So chapters host a 4 to 5 pledge meeting pledge education program that covers the fraternity's history, risk management, organizational structure, and leaving behind a legacy throughout the, those are pretty much the primary topics that are discussed during the pledge meetings. These are all facilitated by the Vice President of Pledge Education weekly, and after each in-person meeting, all the pledges are expected to complete an online module introducing the broad topic for the following week. And then pledges are asked to apply whatever they learned within each module through instruction, discussion, and discovery through the pledge meetings, and pretty much the in-person pledge meetings. Pledges are also expected to attend all chapter meetings, activities, as long as they do not exceed 6 hours to integrate within like the initiated members of the chapter, and to understand all local chapter operations and the culture to better prepare themselves when they're able to contribute to the chapter. And that's one of the experiences that we expect the pledges to have. So a little bit about the chapter consultation program. So for approximately 50 years, Delta Sigma Pi has conducted the consultations. So staff will typically spend 1 to 2 days on the campus to meet with a variety of chapter officers, the campus stakeholders. We usually cover a variety of chapter operations topics while meeting with the chapter members. This may include finances, pledge education, meeting with the pledges, risk management, event planning, recruitment, any type of topic that the chapter would like to talk about. We also meet with representatives from the office that oversees the chapter's registration process. In some institutions, this would be the student activities office. Others would be fraternity, sorority, life. We also meet with the business school dean or a different representative. And so we usually like to discuss and review some of the general information and also focus on the efforts on which the members would like to accomplish. So our goal is to usually meet in person with each of our chapters within 4 terms. This will primarily be dictated by the number of staff traveling. This year, we have conducted virtual consulting visits and anticipate some version of that. In addition to our program, to our in-person program moving forward. So our consultation staff is not dictated to any part of the country. So we're kind of all over the place wherever we're assigned. So ultimately within the consultation program, we assist chapters and volunteers via email and on the phone, whatever is easier for the students. And, you know, at times we will be traveling around the country whenever it is safe to do so. But when we are traveling in person, we're typically on the road for 7 to 10 days, do 30 chapters within a given term. And the consultants and the rest of the chapter service team usually have a small portfolio of chapters we check in on a regular basis. Yeah, so now I'll talk a little bit about expansion. I will hand it over to Dale.
Thank you, Jasmine. We are actively looking for expansion and growth around the country. As you heard earlier, we already have chapters at 224 campuses, and there are another 300 or 400 schools or colleges of business that would qualify to host a chapter. And we certainly want to do that. A short-term goal is getting up to 250 active campuses. To qualify, the campus must enroll 400 full-time students at the undergraduate level as business or economics majors. We do accept part-time students and we accept graduate students, but those are not the qualifying factors for a campus to host the chapter. And we typically get very few part-time or grad students who are interested. Most of our graduate students are students who were undergrads and continued into a graduate program. Or sometimes that accounting program that's a 5-year plan. The qualified programs include everything in business and economics. That means accounting, management, marketing, finance, hotel and restaurant management, whatever that school or department of business and econ identifies as a major in which they award the degree, we automatically accept. We offer a lot of support to help these new groups get started. Our volunteer structure with regional vice presidents and district directors are trained to help with the things Jasmine mentioned, such as the CMP and activities planning. We have a bylaws template ready for a new group to get started with and so forth. And our staff does visit the campuses. I myself have visited over 500 campuses across the country. So we do provide on-site support when we're allowed to travel. The evidence of institutional awareness is important to us. We used to really emphasize this as permission from the university, and we still ask for permission, but permission doesn't mean that the business dean or student affairs has to agree or understand every program that we offer. It means that there is an awareness that we are attempting and starting a new group, and we're learning the university regulations as well as the university staff learning about our operations. There are a lot of ways that we try to find that open door on a campus. One of the most common for many years in the past has simply been referrals. We've had a huge growth pattern because alumni members and faculty or even students referring us to their friends or so forth. We want to increase that referral by reaching out to more people who may not have heard of us. We do get a number of student inquiries, either through Facebook or through our own website, or just from students transferring from one campus to another, that type of thing. We do a number of site visits when we're in an area and go by a campus that doesn't have a chapter. We will do introductory meetings and calls with business school dean's offices. We will research online to try to find out if they have other business fraternities. There are 4. We're the largest of the 4, although one of the others is very similar in size. And depending on the business school enrollment, all 4 may exist on one campus, or if they are at that borderline of 400, they can probably only support one of the 4. Whereas a campus with 3,000 business students may have all 4 of them. So we look for all of the opportunities there and try to find the best options for us to go in and be successful. Our process is about a 12-month plan. We can start with just 2 or more students. And with 2 or more students, we can get them set up in our systems, report them to our insurance for coverage. And then those 2 students begin to recruit. Some campuses have a 5-person minimum, a 10-person minimum, or whatever to be a recognized organization. And we will work with each campus or the students to meet those requirements and apply for official recognition as a student org. In order for them to petition for an actual charter, they have to have 25 students. And out of that 25, 20 of them cannot be seniors who are graduating. So we're really looking for those first and second year students to start new groups, although sometimes we find great benefit in a junior or senior helping start a group because they know the campus. They're probably already in another club or organization of some type, and they can be a real cheerleader for us and those younger students in getting organized. We do have 9 colony officer positions, and as they recruit students, they will appoint people to those positions. When they get large enough, they can have elections like a standard group would have. And we call everyone an organizational member. So there's no pledging involved in this expansion process, but we consider them organizational members. We consider our faculty advisor and our faculty members organizational members. And they're all covered by our insurance policy, and they have to abide by our risk management policies. We also do not have any housing. So that is a barrier that is taken away. And it also reduces a lot of the expense and a lot of the risk that might be associated with groups that have housing. And you could see our current colonies on that previous page as well. Our colony process, as mentioned, does have a lot of support systems in place. With these individuals, our district director, we do appoint 2 district directors to a colony if we find them. And we usually do. Sometimes we have 3 or 4 that want to be, but we limit it to 2. And then myself and our other staff will consult with them by phone, by email, and in on-site visits. The major requirements that a colony goes through during this 9 to 12 month process is planning events that would resemble what a chapter would do once they're chartered. The colony has to do 5 professional events and 4 service events. Those professional events might be anything from a speaker to some type of workshop to a PowerPoint professional presentation to taking a tour of a local business in town. Faculty are good resources for speakers, and student affairs offices, even things like leadership development, such as risk management topics or professional dress topics or parliamentary procedure. All of those do count as professional events. And service events can be anything they want it to be. It could be picking up trash for an hour around campus. It could be a 24-hour dance marathon for muscular dystrophy. So the volume of the event is not important. The regularity of it and seeing that they come together to plan them is what it's really all about. They need to do fundraising as well and ensure that they have a bank account open or have gone through their school's accounting processes for their finances. The charter fee is $1,500, and they will start to pay that in deposits of $200 every 60 days. There are no dues charged to a member during the colony process. Many of the groups will select to have local dues to help with this charter fee. Some groups have gotten that charter fee through fundraising, through student activities, through alumni donations, and they don't have to come up with any of it out of their pocket. The out-of-pocket expense will include their initiation fee, which is $70, and every member during initiation gets a badge, which is $50. So the individual student fee is $120 one time. Dues don't start until they are actually initiated and have a chapter chartered, and then dues are only $42.50 a semester. They will also do weekly meetings and continuous recruitment. So since there's no pledging, there's no ritual, no one has a vote over anybody else, weekly meetings also double as a recruiting event. So they should be inviting students, new faces, to show up at every weekly meeting. When they get to that 25 or more, they will start to narrow that down perhaps. They will find out the people that do not show up, the people that are not helping with the fundraising or don't seem engaged, and they will be able to solidify the membership based on those factors, not through any hardcore attendance policy. There's no discipline involved and things like that. But we help them manage that membership process and how to determine who is really seriously interested and who is going to make a commitment to see this into the next year. We really look for membership sustainability beyond the current term. They also have to attend at least one of those lead events that Tyler mentioned earlier. And this is the group must have a representative. Each person doesn't have to attend. Those events are open to anyone, but there has to be a representation so that they know what kind of programming we do and that they see the fraternity as a national organization. It's not a campus club. So those are some of the big events, the main things that we track throughout the process. We have had groups that completed this in 7 or 8 months. Some have taken 2 years. So it depends on the campus environment, the leadership of the students, as well as our support and connectivity with them. So all factors really depend on the length of time that it takes. And we want them to be successful. So that's our main objective there, is helping them learn and manage these processes. Regardless of the size of campus, whether it's 400 or 3,000, most of our charter groups charter with anywhere from 35 to 60 students. So while 25 is the minimum, most groups are well above that with their first founding class. Because there's some excitement around being a founding member, a charter member, that nobody else ever gets after that point. So that's a wrap up on the overall process. With new chapter support, we end the process by doing a 30-day, 4 to 5 week pledging with them that leads to the initiation of them as members in the organization and an installation ceremony. On the screen, you do see a sample charter. Our charter is not a piece of paper in an envelope. We do have this framed. It hangs in the business school usually. Sometimes it's in the dean's office or the faculty advisor's office. We like for it to be in a public place if possible, in a secure place so it's not stolen in a display window. Sometimes they are in the student activities offices or campus life buildings, student unions and such. The objective is to make it visible, and it serves as year-round publicity for us, but it is the charter that allows them to exist. And all of the names of those founding members are on that charter. With that ceremony, we follow up the ceremony with several orientation meetings. These meetings teach them how to do the things they didn't learn in the colony process. That means how to select pledges. During recruitment as a colony, they're recruiting for members to get the group open. Once they're a chapter, they have to learn how to recruit and vote and invite members to come in as a pledge. So there's a different process. And then we teach them on our ritual, how to do business meetings with ritual and parliamentary procedure, how to conduct proper votes, and how to do ceremonies for the election of officers and for initiating new members. And then we continue our staff consultation visits along with every other chapter. We do try to include the advisor in some of these meetings if they're able. And with the chartering, I should also mention that most groups have anywhere from 3 to 5 faculty and staff members initiated with them as founders. That would be teaching faculty from the College of Business. It could be support staff in the dean's business office, and it could be student affairs and student activity staff who work with campus organizations.
And that's about it.